everyone. Welcome to Tangle Time Arts. My name is Nana Heron, and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And it is day 4 of the Inktober Tangles event. Big shout out to Stephanie Jennifer for putting this together. It's always a lot of fun, and this year has some awesome tangles for us. So day 4. If you don't have your if you haven't downloaded your packet yet, you can, of course, still do that, and the information is in the description. But day 4 is Toodles by Zentangle, and it's this lovely leaf. It reminds me of a leaf, or it could be a petal. But if you have downloaded this, you can click on the name Toodles, and it will take you to a step out, which is really, really handy. So I appreciate this, both that feature and this packet, and of course, the lovely Stephanie Jennifer. All right, Toodles, day 4. So for this project, we will, again, for this year, I'm just keeping things really simple so that we can focus on learning these new tangles. So we'll just need our white tile. You can also use a sketchbook or computer paper. You will need a black pen, a number 2 pencil, and a tortillon. And I also do have, today I've chosen to use some gel pens, and these are from Wexford, but you can use any brand that you have on hand, or you can swap out the gel pens for colored pencils or markers, watercolors, whatever you feel like using, or no color at all. You can just do this with shading. Okay, let's get started. So I am going to actually start with my pencil. And for this one, I pretty much want to use the entire space of the tile. So I won't be using the dots and the line to make a frame today. But we're just going to dive right in with, I'm going to put some, I guess it's a string in here, just like an S, and think of the center about right there. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the diagonal, like that. All right, and that's just going to kind of guide us a little bit. So once we have this, we are going to start in with the first step of Toodles. And I'm kind of just actually going to put in a curve there. Yours can be thinner or wider. There's no right or wrong here. It's just however you feel, however wide you feel it should be. And then we're going to come in with kind of like a fescue shape, and I'm going to ink in that little bulb on the end. And sometimes I follow along the previous line, and then other times I have more of a space there. And then for the next step, kind of start at the top here. I like to put a little hook on there. And I'm going to come around, and I like to curve back in. You could go the other way too. You could start here and curve out and go back up to the top. And then depending on how my shape turned out, I'm going to add a little bit of you know how sometimes leaves, they kind of curl in. So I'm adding a little bit of a lip there. For this one, because it's already cutting inside a little bit, I'm going to add that on the outside just to kind of even that out. Then I'm gonna rotate around, and I think I'm actually gonna do the opposite one. So I'm gonna rotate around that way and do the same thing. So I'm just putting in my curves there, and then my little fescue shapes. Ink that in. And then again, you can start from the top and go down if you'd like, curving that in. Let's try that on the other side too. Like that. And then if you'd like to add that little part that's curling in on the leaf, you wouldn't have to add that if you don't want to. Rotating around and the same thing, put in a curve there. And this Toodle is going to be behind these two. But I'm going to put in my fescue, little fescue shapes here. So using the hollowbah technique, so I'm going to start at the top, come around, and when I meet the other one, I'm just going to lift up my pen and kind of continue over, kind of picturing how it's coming over here, and then come back in. Same on this side. Pick up my pen, kind of air draw over to there. And then put in these little curled areas. Rotate around, and we've got our last one is also going to be behind these two. All right, so we have four, four Toodles there. And then I'd like to embellish this a little bit, so I'm gonna go ahead and this one's the widest one, so I am just going to go down the center and then add some V shapes. Just adding a little bit of interest here. You could, if you want to do something different, you could add like a little string of orbs or tipple in there. So this is the optional part, and this is where you can get creative and fill in with something that you'd like. Goes pretty quickly. And I don't know, I picture these as leaves, but you could picture them as petals as well. Um, that's up to you. I could see it go either way. All right, cool. And then I have some space in here. So let's rotate around to this one's the largest one. So I am just going to put a tiny little heart in there. And then I'm going to just add some vertical lines. And I'm going to do that in each area. There we go. And then I'm also going to add a bit of an aura around my entire piece here. So I'm going to start at one of these tips and kind of gradually come out and do an aura, kind of a partial aura of those shapes. I'm going to do that all the way around. All right. We went all the way around. Cool. And I'm going to do a little bit of shading. So for shading, I'm going to shade in these areas here. Just kind of defining our toodles a bit. And then I definitely want to shade those areas where we have one behind the other. If you can see this little leaf is behind these two. So I just want to add shading kind of underneath the leaves that are on top. And we've got another leaf like that that's kind of underneath. Like that. So I'm not doing a lot of shading with this one. And that's because, excuse me, I'm going to go in with the gel pen. All right, so I'm going to use my tortillon and just do a little bit of the blending before we put our gel pen on. Like that. And then I'm going to go in with the gel pens. Now I have some glitter gel pens and just a plain gel pen. They're all from Wexford. You could easily use whatever you have around. You could use colored pencils, different colored ballpoint pens, markers, watercolors, crayons, whatever you'd like. If you're not adding color, I would suggest leaving the hearts white, and then we can add some color to those curled over areas and in here. But I'm going to go in and actually ink in my hearts with a little bit of this magenta gel pen. Although I do like them white actually, but you can decide after I've done it what you'd like to do. Often I'll try things and then you can decide whether you want to do them or not. This is kind of helpful because then you can see before doing it what you'd like to do. All right, so I'm going to pick one of these leaves and I am going to ink in with the green, but I'm doing every other kind of back and forth like that. So I'm just adding a little touch of color, not a lot. Again, keeping it simple, and I don't want it to be too overwhelming. I'm just finding that with everything going on in the world, it's just sometimes really nice to just focus on the little things. And then I'm also going to go in and get these areas that are kind of curled over. Again, just for that little pop of color. I'm not looking for an overwhelming amount, just a little pop. You can, of course, add more color if you'd like. You can use different colors too, because I'm using green here because I'm picturing these as leaves, but to you, they might look like petals. Um, you might want to leave them white or go in with a pink. All right, so I have something that looks like this. And then I also, because there's some space here, I am just going to go in and I'm going to actually add a little bit of Printemps. Now be careful if you're using the gel pens, they take a little longer to dry. I'm kind of going to look and see where the driest area is, and that's right now up here is almost dry. So I'm going to go in, and this is kind of an orange gold glitter gel pen, and I'm just adding a little bit of Printemps and maybe a little orb or tipple if you or perf, whichever, however you think of them. So Printemps is just simply and I'll walk you through it. Um, I kind of think of it as like a cursive letter C, and then we're just going to aura around that a couple times, however many times you'd like. And then when there's no more space, I'm just putting in a little orb there. Oh, and we can put in a little orb up there too. So I think that looks really, really cute. We have a little more space here, so maybe we can put in a few more, or, or one that's a little larger. put one in here. It looks really cute. And I'm going to add one more little one there. And gel pens can be really juicy, so just be careful. I got a little bit of smudge there, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. It just all blends in. And then once you get to this point, you can kind of rotate around and see if you'd like to add anything else. I think that looks really, really cute. I'm just kind of waiting for the gel pen to dry so that I can add a little bit of shading. Yeah, that looks really cute. I love it. I don't know if you can see the kind of sparkle of the orange and the magenta, but it's got a little bit of glitter there. All right, I'm gonna put my cap on that, and we can lightly go in and do a little bit of shading. So I'm just shading a little bit on the outside of all of the Toodles. We're back where we started, and I just need a little bit more graphite there. All right, and then we're going to gently take our tortillon and kind of blend, being really careful because I'm not 100% sure that my gel pen is dry, but if you have the time, definitely wait a couple minutes. And I think that's about it. I think we've got it all. But really cute, really sweet. I like this project a lot. And I'm a big fan of anything that even hints at a plant. I love the botanical type of tangles. Those are some of my favorites for sure. Um, all right, I am actually going to put my initials in. I think I'm just going to tuck it in this little area here. So it's barely visible. And yeah, it's so cute. I love it. Just got that little bit of sparkle, little bit. All right, I'm gonna carefully turn it over. Um, and I kind of pre-filled some of the information. So we've got our Inktober Tangles day number 4. The date is October 4th. I like to put my name on there. And it our featured tangle was Toodles by Zentangle. And we had a little bit of Printemps in there too. And I'll put that in the description. So I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. It's so cute. And I will be back for day 5. Once again, big shout out to Stephanie Jennifer. And if you haven't downloaded your packet yet, you can still do that. And I would highly suggest you get one so that you can refer back to that. Play around with this one. Let me know if you want to let me know if you saw leaves or if you saw petals. Like, were they like pink petals or orange or blue as in a flower? Okay, have fun, enjoy, and I'll be back for the next day, day 5. Take care, and thanks for joining me on this journey. It's a blast. All right. Take care and I'll see you soon. Love you guys. Bye.